Last thing I'm going to show is I was actually working with a team member. Let me make sure I get to the right place here. I was working with a team member on, he wanted a better way to centralize and edit and sort his ongoing work. He's an engineer who's doing work across multiple teams. The ideal often, I think, in an agile principled Scrum environment is you have teammates who are dedicated to one team and can treat as a team, but often in game development, we end up in sort of a mix of practices. And as a result, he was across many teams servicing multiple teams in development. So it could be a tech team that he's doing work for, a gameplay team, and then maybe even a tools team. So it was making it hard for him to keep track of like, okay, I have to go to this board for this task, this board for this task. And sometimes that can be a visual overload. And so all we did is we created, as you can see here, I made a private collection. I've called it My Tasks, All Teams. And I have set up a source to basically just look at, in his case, he had one project that he was on and one collection contained many boards. So we have selected that collection, and then we have made sure, as you can see here, we have this test Favro collection and My Tasks. And we didn't have to select specific boards, but you can do that. And then all we've done is we've filtered by the team member. In this case, that's me. But in the actual use case, we used that engineer as our member filter. And all we did is we set up a few widgets, one to display all tasks, one to sort of summarize the tasks in various different phases. As you can see, we're making, in this test case, we're making a game about pancakes. And then just a little visual overview of how many cards are where. So this is one way to kind of look at your work a little bit differently, to customize it and have access to everything all in one place.
I think this is cool, and it ties into, well, let me put it this way. Often people think about the Favro Live Dashboards as something for managers and executives to have an overview of what's going on, the reporting. But using it for teams or for individuals, like in this case, is also very powerful. I mean, one of our ideas was to democratize business intelligence, to make these kind of dashboards not like a centralized thing. They have to ping IT to set up, but you can simply do it yourself. And this is a great example of that. And there's actually one other example when this is very applicable, and that is if you are an outsourcing studio and you have the situation that you're working with many clients, and you basically have obviously separation between those clients, but using Favro for that. In this way, it's a good, obviously it can be a little bit of task change overhead from that, because you're serving more than one client, but to make sense of all of that without having any leakage of information between those clients, you can also do a setup like this. So yeah, this is really cool. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, and even the use case we talked about earlier, where the art director wanted to keep track of things across multiple vendors, that was before dashboards released. And I can imagine setting up a really quick dashboard to give a very similar overview of where things are at and which status. So
absolutely cool.
The other thing I'd mention is almost all of these, the automations were probably took the longest to set up, but almost all of these things take about 30 seconds to 4 minutes. So it's all very simple.